Good morning, everyone. Today, our topic is managing daily call cycle. In this daily call form, total number is 102 and rate is constant equation. And this is the number of cow and demand in each state. Overall milk yield is 15 kg per day. For the feed, flatfish is made of the growing industrial waste and concentrate is homemade. Feed and health management are follow ACS guidelines. In some, the production of this farm doesn't meet the demand, and there are many problems such as decreased milk yield, excessive day open, and calving interval. Metal detection results are positive for 80% of cows. According to the farm information, we focus on 3 points. The first is overview of reproductive cycle. The second is nutrition management for lactating cow following reproductive cycle. And the last is heart rate disease. Before we are going to focus on each lactation phase, we will describe the overview of life cycle of daily cows. In one cycle, it takes 365 days from the day that cow gives birth until the next one.
In this graph from the bottom axis is divided into 12 months. In this 365 days, we will divide the lactation cycle of lactation cow into 5 main phases, consists of early lactation, which can be subdivided into early lactation 1 and early lactation 2, mid lactation, late lactation, early die periods, which is when the cow stops giving milk, and the last one is transition periods. In all 5 phases, we will talk about the 3 main points, which are the nutrient management, production cycle, and reproductive cycle. We will start with the nutrient management. Lactation cow is in each phase will have variance of raw fat per concentrate ratio and percentage of protein in concentrate that are appropriate for the requirement of each lactation phase. The next one is the production cycle. We will focus on productivity, which is milk production. In one cycle, there are both increasing and decreasing amounts of milk production, which can be divided into 2 main phases. The 305 first day of lactation periods are the periods that the cow is giving milk, and the last 60 days of die periods are the periods that the cow is not giving milk.
For the peak of lactations, or the period that gives the highest amount of milk production, is the day 70 according to this graph. During the first 3 days of the cycle, the lactation cow will give colostrum that has importance for the cow's immune system, and the lactation cow will stop lactating when the period of early die cow comes. And the last part that we will talk about in this graph is the reproductive cycle. In this part, we will explain more about the reproductive cycle. Beginning with the 1 cycle can be divided into 2 main phases, consisting of the day open phase, that the first 80 to 85 days of the cycle, or in simply speaking, is the period that have a calf involved, and the gestation phase, that is the last 280 to 285 days of the cycle, or in simply speaking, this is the period that doesn't have a calf involved. After the cow gives birth, the cow will have a heat cycle every 21 days. In the first phase of the cycle, it is inappropriate to be fertilized. The fertilization should occur in the 3rd heat or 4th heat of the cycle in order to complete the lactation cycle.
Next slide is feed of cow. Can classify feed into 2 main types, rough feed and concentrate. Rough feed are feed which are high in fiber more than 18%, less digest material, and therefore low in total digestible nutrients. Such feeds as soylate can classify quality 4 types, very high, medium, and low quality. Silage such as corn, legume, and grass. Hay can classify quality 4 types, very high, medium, and low quality. Straw is forage with high fiber content but low nutritional value, so should add urea 4% and molasses in straw for enhancing the nutritional quality. Leucaena leaf meal has high fiber but should not add more than 10% in the feed. cottonseed. The next slide is concentrate. Contain high energy feed but fiber less than 18%. The three basic group of concentrate is basal feed, such as corn, oat, barley. Protein supplement, such as soybean meal, fish meal, urea. But urea should not use less than 3%, and if used urea in straw, should not add urea in concentrate, because cow can receive too much nitrogen. Mineral and vitamin supplement, such as oyster shell meal, is source of calcium. Mollard is source of potassium.
Next, we are going to focus on the detail of each lactation phase. First phase is early lactation. It is divided into two parts, day 1 after giving birth to day 60 and day 61 to day 100. In these two parts, we provide the same nutrition feeding. The ratio of rapid to concentrate is 40 to 60%. Of dietary crude protein is 16 to 18%. The difference between these two parts is the first 60 days, the cow adjusts to the feed formula alteration following the dry period. By being fed with increased concentration, this could lead to rumen acidosis. The preventative is providing 1 kilogram of glass hay every day per cow and providing the highest quality of food so that the cow will eat more. Next 40 days, also known as maintainable lactation, is contains the peak of production. We should maintain this period as long as we can in order to produce the highest amount of milk throughout the lactation period.
After the peak production stage, they move into the mid-lactation, which is 101 to 200 days after calving. The milk yield tends to decline at this stage, even though it should not decrease more than 8 to 10% monthly. Furthermore, during this stage, cows are reaching a peak consumption with no more weight loss and start to gaining weight. And from that point, cows also should be bred to initiate a new pregnancy. From the above, we need to feed a proper ration for the best result in production. The past study found that the proper ratio of phosphate per concentrate is 50 per 50, which includes 16 to 18% of crude protein. In this state, urea can be added to feed in order to reduce costs. However, urea can cause toxicity. When there are excess ammonia and urea circulate in the blood, cow will show signs of nervous system dysfunction, bloat, and death. So, we need to carefully sure the amount of urea added, which is not more than 3% of crude protein.
State lactation. This state being 201 to 305 days after calving. During this state, milk yield continue to decline. The proper ratio of phosphate to concentrate is 60 per 40, which includes 14 to 16% of crude protein. The cow also gain weight during this period better than Eridae cow when you found a thin cow or have body condition score less than 3.0. Gaining weight during Eridae cow may disease with fat cow syndrome.
Early dry period 306 to 351 days. A recommended dry period is 45 to 65 days. Generally, shorter, longer drying or the cow isn't drying will affect to mammary tissue. This reduces the amount of mammary tissue capable of producing milk, so it will decrease milk production of the next lactation. There are three types of dry-off count, depending on the amount of milk production. First, complete cessation milking for cows that produce less milk. Second, intermittent milking for cows that produce medium milk. And the last one, incomplete milking for cows that produce a lot of milk. Nutrition feeding for early dry count. The ratio of phosphate to concentrate is 50 to 50. In this ratio, we use low quantity of phosphate. On the other hand, you can feed good quality of phosphate without feeding concentrate, and the ratio will change to 100 to 0. and percent crude protein is 12 to 13%. Also, in this period, we can add vitamins A, D, E, and the mineral selenium to prevent mastitis.
Now let's move to the transition cow, which is 2 weeks before giving birth. In this period, cow eats less food, but yield more. The key in this period, you have to focus on feeding low-quality roughage, such as hay, to stimulate rumination, add cassava in the food to stimulate microorganisms in the rumen, and add vitamin E and selenium. The nutrition feeding of the transition cow, as in the table, you can see the proper ratio of roughage per concentrate is 50/50, and crude protein 13 to 14%. And don't forget to add calcium and vitamin A, D, E too. If calcium is not properly managed, it results in hypocalcemia. And do not put too much salt in the nutrition feeding.
In addition to food management, it's important to be cautious of sharp objects that could contaminate food, such as material from the industry, agriculture, byproduct from farms. Whenever a cow consumes foreign object and it lies in reticulum, when muscle contract, the hardware may be forced through the wall of reticulum, diaphragm, and heart sac. That's called hardware disease. During pregnancy, the rumen and reticulum are displaced forward. At the time of carrying, forceful abdominal movement may increase the chance that hardware will move into the heart. If the cow has a hardware disease, you may notice that the cow has a poor appetite, depressed, reluctant to move, and arched back, like this in the picture. An X-ray, ultrasound, and analysis of curtain fat protein can help confirm a diagnosis of hardware disease. Hardware disease causes irregular return to estrus, low conception rate, extended day open, and extended calving interval, decreased lactation period, increased die period. Eventually, milk yield will decrease. It can be treated by having the cow swallow a magnet stick, and the best preventive way is keeping feed back, feeder, cow lot free of no sharp objects.
From all that said, it can be seen that this graph represents the nutrient management, production, and reproduction cycles. As for nutrients, we need to feed a proper ratio of food that suits the changing production and reproduction cycle. When it's combined with the management to prevent the hardware disease, all this management will help this farm to reach the highest milk production. Let's bring the presentation to the end. Thanks for your attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.